I haven't talked about the coronavirus in a while. I was doing weekly kitchen vlogs to discuss the latest developments, but we've kind of settled into a rut here. That's what I'm calling it, a rut. Something some people are calling the new normal. I'm okay. I've been staying safe. Oh, I'm going to show you something, but first, I need to adjust my camera. Check out my freezer. It is full. I filled it up so I wouldn't have to go shopping. I even have a little sign on my freezer door. It's got a date on it, July 1st, 2020. That's the date that I'm starting to eat solely out of my own home, right? And I'm also starting to shop online, specifically Amazon. It's where I'm buying my groceries. I ordered these this week. I got a box of them. You buy in bulk, right? 12 to a box. These are baby clams, canned clams, because I like to use these for making New England clam cakes. They're snacks that I like to have. I'll make up a bunch of them and I'll put them in the freezer. Like I made almost 40 the last time I made some, and I have a couple of bags in the freezer. There's a video. I have a video on YouTube and a recipe on my website, mobilehomegourmet.com. I can buy these in bulk because of the expiration date. This one says, best if used by October 15th, 2022. So these are good for more than 2 years. But I'll probably use them all up within like 6 months to a year. Okay. There was a time when the pandemic had hardly reached this community where I live. There were a few cases that were reported, but otherwise the place was relatively safe. That's no longer the case now. The numbers are still low, only 4 new cases in the past 24 hours, but they're increasing. I mean, it's not like Texas and Florida where they're seeing 1,000 new cases a day. 4 is nothing. But it's not going down, and that's what's bothering me. I want to see the numbers go down. But thankfully, people here are conscientious. When I do go to the store, when I went to the store last month, people were wearing masks. Everybody was. Yesterday was actually the first time that I ventured out. First time in more than a week. I went to the dentist. I wanted to get that exam out of the way before the numbers became too alarming here. I don't know what it's going to look like in a few months from now, so I decided I'll just go now, get it done, and then I'm good for 6 months, and who knows, that'll be January. Maybe by then we might have a vaccine. I don't know. It was a different sort of experience, though, I've got to tell you, with the dentist. They check your temperature outside with one of those guns. They point at your forehead. Then when I went in to see the hygienist, I first needed to rinse my mouth out with a diluted hydrogen peroxide solution for 30 seconds. Then I needed to wash my hands. And then finally, I was ready for my cleaning and my exam. And that went well enough. I don't usually have too many problems with my teeth. I was told by one dentist a long time ago that I would probably have my teeth for the rest of my life, with a few changes here and there, like maybe replace a crown when it needs to be replaced, but I'm in pretty good shape. As far as the coronavirus, I don't have any symptoms unless I count my headaches. I do have, it's not bothering me today, but I have an ache in the back of my head that has been there for a few weeks. It's very mild, almost unnoticeable, but I know it's there. And I keep this thermometer in my desk, on my desk, in my office, my home office in the back, where I spend most of my time. And I do take my temperature periodically just to see what's going on. And that's what I think might be the cause of the headaches. Not the thermometer, but too much staring at the computer screen and reading. Now, I don't mean to brag too much, but I am reading more than usual. I might read a dozen books per year. That's normal. That's typical for me. Here it is, July, toward the beginning of July. And again, I'm not bragging. I've already read 18 books this year. since January. 18 books. The last book I read, Will He Go? By Lawrence Douglas, I read in one day. I'll show you the cover. See, I'll put it over here, I think. It was an interesting book and very easy to read. That's why I read it all in one day. Douglas used some political election crises from the past to discuss what might happen at the end of this year, beginning of next year, if the election doesn't turn out the way Trump might want it to. So others have been discussing it also. If the election is a clear victory for Biden, Trump will move back to Florida. He'll just go away. But if the election is very close, Trump might challenge the results. And that was the point of that book. He used some examples in history of where that happened and what happened. We saw what happened in the year 2000 when the contest between George W. Bush and Al Gore was so close. Remember the hanging chads in Florida? The race was finally decided by the Supreme Court. Another issue that Douglas brings up in the book is what's called the peaceful transition of power. When a new president is elected, the former president typically graciously leaves office and usually helps a new president through the transition period, that short period. Although the transition of power is not written into the Constitution, as far as I know, it happens because these politicians have spent years, many years in government, and they know and accept the norms. Trump has never served in government before. He's been a businessman. So the author does not expect a peaceful transition of power because Trump doesn't know about these norms and he's not going to respect them. He thinks he'll probably just leave and then spend the next 20 years complaining on Fox and Friends about how the election was rigged against him by Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and the radical Democrats. Of course, he could win in November, although that is starting to look unlikely. Biden is doing very well, at least in the polls. I'm going to talk about the polls in one of these future kitchen vlogs. I'm not going to get onto it today. I've got an issue with the polls, but I'll talk about that later. Getting back to the pandemic, the point of this video, when will we get back to normal? The old normal, not this new normal, the old normal. When will we get back? It isn't going to happen until we have a vaccine. The virus is infecting more and more people around the world, and especially here, because this country has been so bad as far as testing and contact tracing. And this is, I'm sorry folks, this is a very dangerous virus. It is killing more people, lots more people, than the seasonal flu epidemic we see each winter. You don't typically see masks during flu season. No, I see masks everywhere. As I said earlier, people are conscientious here. They're wearing masks. I see them at the store when I go. In areas where people refuse to wear masks or where they gather in large numbers close together, the virus is infecting thousands of people each day. Some places are seeing 1,000 new infections per day. Now, I'm going to say something that might offend some people, but I have an attitude about this whole thing. If people want to take risks and make themselves sick, they should stay home to recover or die. There, stay home. Just stay home. Stay out of the hospital. Don't go to the hospital. Leave the hospital space available for people who are properly practicing social distancing and wearing masks, but get sick anyway. Probably infected by you people who refuse to wear a mask. Now, as far as a vaccine, sadly, but this is the reality, we might not see one until late next year, maybe hopefully early next year. That's when we'll see things. When we have a vaccine, that's when we'll see things start to get back to normal. And I think as far as the vaccine goes, I think hospital workers should be the first to get the vaccine because they're the frontline workers. They're putting themselves in the most risk. Then I think school teachers should be the next, and then the elderly like me. I'll be 70 years old next year. And then after all those people have had the vaccine, will then make it available to everyone else. But I don't know when it's going to be available. They're testing vaccines now. Some, they say, could be available by the end of this year. I hope so. I would love to see a vaccine available in November and December. Pick it up at the same time as I pick up my annual flu vaccine. I would love that. So anyway, that's the latest from me. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for the release of Mary Trump's book. That will come out on Tuesday. I'm going to move aside over here because I'm showing you the book I'm currently reading. This is a book that I started reading last year but never finished. Commander-in-Chief, How Gulf Explains Trump. It's an amusing book, and sometimes it's downright funny at times. So and during this time when we're stuck at home and all we can do is read, and if I want to be outside, I read on the deck, outside on the deck. That's the best I can do. I don't even check my mail but once or twice a week. And when I do, I go put a mask on. Where's my mask? Here's my mask. This is what I wear when I go out. I look like that. This is thick fabric. It's actually pant weight fabric. So I don't need to use 2 layers. That's what I wear. Anyways, thanks for listening. Stay safe and healthy at home, please. If you have to go out, please, 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 please wear a mask. Don't just think of yourself. More so, think about others. And think about the people you come home to. You might have family at home, a wife, a daughter, a husband, kids, grandparents. Think about them as well. By wearing this outside, you might not pick up the virus, and then when you come home, you'll be safe for the people around you at home because you're not wearing a mask at home and neither are they. So go out with one of these on, please. Stay safe, stay healthy.